Hey guys, Sergey, CTO of 3 Sigma here, and today I want to give a demo of our platform, which is kind of like Google for public insurance filings. And before we dive into the demo, I think it'd be helpful to understand a little bit of context about the product. So every insurance carrier in the US has to submit a public filing anytime they make a change to their rating algorithm or underwriting rules. And this is done to prevent discriminatory practices. They have to explain the mechanics of a change and why it was made. In essence, these filings represent a complete overview of the industry. Yet answering a basic question like what companies have recently made a weather adjustment is incredibly challenging since there's tens of thousands of these filings. And our mission is to develop a platform where an actuary, an underwriter, or even a product manager can ask a question and receive immediate feedback. And with AI, we can have an assistant that knows a tremendous amount about the insurance industry, sift through a lot of information, pull out the key insights, and then synthesize an answer to basically any question you might have instantly. And that's really, really cool. It's kind of like stepping into a library where the books understand you. You can ask a question, and the library doesn't just point you to the books with those exact words, but it points you to the books that actually answer your question. That's what we're working on, and that's what we're super excited to demo. So, all right, let's go ahead and just dive into the demo. So I'm going to add a couple filters. Type of insurance, we're going to go ahead and do homeowners in the state of Ohio. By default, this is going to be set to the last 5 years filings. We can adjust that for our purposes. That seems perfect. And then we'll go ahead and use Allstate. So once again, what this allows us to do is ask any question about Allstate. So in this case, maybe something, let's go ahead and start with something relatively simple. So what is a list of the current risk characteristics they use for rating? So here it goes. It's searching through all the documents on the back end, finding the relevant chunks of it, and then it's going to piece all this together. We have an AI agent that actually reads this, figures out if it's relevant to the question, figures out if there's more information that needs to be pulled in, and it does this. So here we are. Looks like we have a really big list of just various things that it found. And you can start reading through this, kind of trying to understand what is going on, and this will give you a great high-level understanding. And then what is most important about this tool is it's not a black box. So we can show the references, and we can piece together exactly where this information is coming from. So in this case, let's go ahead and click on one of these. Oh, here we go. Okay, so looks like this has something to do with manufactured homes and basically how they adjust rates based on the policyholder's past history. And we can see it subdivides it into a couple groups and so on. And we can start reading through the document, getting a deeper understanding of this. But what's incredibly helpful here is that notice that nowhere here does it explicitly mention anything about risk characteristics, or nothing that I see. But it understood the essence of the question that we're asking, and it was able to pull together a response. And you can start searching through all these, and looks like here we have an entire criteria of how it works, and you can start just piecing all this together, figuring out what's relevant. So here we have something to do with insurance rate, or sorry, credit score ratings. Looks like depends on the credit score, they get subdivided into different subgroups. Okay, that's really interesting. So let's go ahead and add another question maybe related to that. So tell me more about how they use credit scores. And you can have just a full dialogue with it, and you can ask it to elaborate on points, you can ask it to clarify things, and it'll just understand this. And here goes insurance scores. And yeah, we can start reading through this. It seems like it's on the right track. It will pull together more information that it found. The original section looks like another one of these manuals. And once again, it just finds the information, presents it to you, and then you can read through it and you can kind of get an idea of what's going on. But let's go ahead, maybe ask something a little trickier. So this is also important. Does Allstate use CAPE Analytics for underwriting. If you're not familiar with it, Cape Analytics is a really cool startup that uses satellite imagery to assess roof conditions. And in this case, Allstate does not use Cape Analytics. And what's very important here is that this model will be able to tell us that, like, no, this information does not exist, and basically telling us that, no, there's nothing here. And did not find any mention of Cape Analytics. So that's incredibly helpful because it's not just going to hallucinate a response. If it finds information, it's going to answer your question. If it doesn't find information, that's okay. It'll tell you that. So let's do something a little more challenging. So what is the 5-year average link ratio that they use? This is a challenging question. Because the information is likely to be contained in a very gnarly table. And you might not even have this explicitly called the link ratio. So here we are. Once again, it was able to find a section of a document, and let's go ahead and see if we can find this. Oh, here we are. So yeah, link ratios, 5-year straight average. Once again, read through this, kind of get an idea of what's going on. So incredibly, incredibly helpful. And as you can see, this information is contained in a very, very gnarly table. And this is not the simplest thing to parse, but since the model understands this natively as an image, it's able to still answer our question. So in this case, it looks like this is the link ratio related to lightning, and looks like it found a lot of different link ratios. So once again, the information might be quite challenging to piece together, but this will still be able to find it and understand it. And surprisingly, it can actually even do math, which is quite impressive to me. Hopefully that was a good demo that goes over what's possible with the product. To be honest, we barely grazed the surface as to what's possible. And if you'd find this useful at your job, feel free to get in touch with us, and we'd love to chat. Until then, see you next time.